taken to this office by 17th of February 2025. Your cooperation in this matter is highly appreciated. Signed, Honorable Julius Deborah, Chief of Staff, and it's been copied to all heads of government institutions. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to this, state institutions have been issuing termination letters, revoking appointments, and it is causing a lot of trauma to the youth of the country who have been employed by the states. Mr. Speaker, I have seen letters from the GRA, from Ghana Water, from Gridco, and of particular concern is Ghana Health Service. Health professionals who were recruited have been given letters to go home. Teachers who were recruited have been given letters to go home. Mr. Speaker, recruitment is not an event. It is a process. It is not just a day that an institution will get up, call somebody and give a letter. In our own parliament here, recruitment started as far back as June, July, August. It's only around January that some people receive their appointment letters. They go through interview, do aptitude tests, have to pass medicals. So, knowing Honorable Julius Deborah, perhaps he meant well, and this is somebody I respect. I do not think that the intent of this letter was for state institutions to dismiss, revoke appointment. I believe that perhaps some clarity would have to be given. If he says that in the interest of good governance practice, 7 December, so you should lose your job. Mr. Speaker, I'm guided by history. In 2017, particularly May 26th, 2017, at 7:12 p.m., former President John Dramani Mahama, as he then was, tweeted, quote, "For our governance, mass sacking of workers by the MPP government unacceptable." He goes further at 7:13 p.m. the same evening. "These workers are all citizens and like all Ghanaians have rights which must be protected." Then hashtag one Ghana, one people. Mr. Speaker, pursuant to this, there were serious behind the scenes discussions. And although government had intended to scrutinize these recruitments, no Ghanaian worker was sent home. I know about Yoko. There were recruitments at Yoko. Not a single one of them was sent home. And I say this on authority. EPA, health insurance, SNIT, Mr. Speaker, a lot of government agencies that have done recruitment. And the explanation was that the process started before December 7th. And His Excellency John Dramani Mahama raised this matter. Mr. Speaker, I remember that recruitment into immigration services. The Ghanaian youth went into training after December 7th. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo was the one who presided over the parade for the graduation in March. The records are there. Mr. Speaker, let us be very careful as a nation. The goodwill our friends have must not erode rather too early or rather too soon. Again and again, to conclude, I know Mr. Julius Deborah, he himself is a private sector person. He's a businessman who knows how, when somebody is employed, it adds value to the economy. So I do not think he had intended that people who have gone through aptitude tests, gone through interviews, should be sent home. But it is all over the place. It is all over the place that our countrymen and women, our youth, are being sent home. They went to office, they were asked to come home with these letters. Where do they find food to eat? How do they feed their families? How do they feed themselves? What is going to be their future? On the strength of His Excellency John Dramani Maham's tweets of May 2017, I would want to adopt these words as though they were mine. These are very veritable words that he used to crave the indulgence of the government at the time to get back to ensure that our people did not lose jobs. And I repeat it, these workers are all citizens of Ghana, and like all Ghanaians have rights which must be protected. One Ghana, one people. End quote. Mr. Speaker, I rest my.
Honorable members, I will not open the floor for debate, but take response from the majority leader.
Mr. Speaker, like I keep saying, Parliament is a space where we can make statements, we can draw attention to important public matters. But Mr. Speaker, let us also be even and balanced when we view matters in this House. I served as a member of the transition team, and I recall that during that period, there was a mad rush to employ people. Even after a party had lost an election and was on its way out, after December 7th, we saw ministers in a hurry to have people interviewed and taken through the processes so that they could be officially served with employment letters. And at the transition team meetings, joint meetings, we raised issues. We told our counterparts who were outgoing ministers that that practice must stop because a number of issues are implicated. One, we all know that you must have fiscal space before you take decisions to employ people. You are leaving. We are coming in. We haven't told you that the public money that is available, we want to commit it to paying workers. So you cannot clock the fiscal space and then leave us with problems that we cannot deal with. So we pleaded with them to hold on with the recruitments. And at the meetings, they told us that so long as they had gotten financial clearance during the year, they will proceed with the recruitment. And we said that is wrong. Once you haven't done the recruitment, hold on. When we come in, we'll assess the situation and see whether we have fiscal space to do recruitments or not. And they insisted on recruiting and insisted that so long as they were in office until January 7th, they were the validly established government of the Republic of Ghana and they will do whatever pleases them. And so they were going to recruit. I was in the meetings. Minutes of the meetings exist. I can point to specific outgoing ministers who made those statements. So if you engage in such recklessness and you go and you know that you are leaving office, and you decide to load the public sector with workers, that will make it difficult for the incoming government. What do you expect? What do you expect? What do you expect? So, Mr. Speaker, I will not. Look, I made those statements at the transition team meetings, and I'm repeating those statements here, that it is reckless for you to leave for you to know that you are leaving office, but you decide to load the public sector with workers so that the incoming government will come and inherit such workers, and then we'll be struggling with how to pay them. Mr. Speaker, look, I chaired about 8 ministries, the transitions. I saw an agency, I won't mention the name, but if you push me, I'll mention the name. Mr. Speaker, when we were leaving office in 2017 January, that agency had about 120 workers with a certain asset to manage. At the transition, we asked them today, how many workers are in that agency? Mr. Speaker, there were over 1,000 workers. Mr. Speaker, we asked them, have you added additional assets for assets that we could use 110 workers to manage? You have come and you have loaded that same organization. 1,000 workers. It's not a question of whether or not they are not Ghanaians. It is about the proper management of the state. That is why the NDC government, that is why the NDC as a party realized that this country should not be run with over 180 ministers. That is why we have reduced the number of ministers to 60. Because we want this country to be properly managed with the labor force that is needed to manage it. And so if you, at the time that we're cautioning you during transition, to be circumspect with your recruitment exercise, and you said you will not do it, what makes you think that today will allow those recruitments to stay? I think that what the Chief of Staff has done is proper. It is consistent with good governance, and we will review the recruitments that took place, and we will reverse them as indicated. This house, I was in this house when the Minister for Interior came and said he was going to recruit people into the security agencies. During the transition meetings, we cautioned him, please do not proceed with the recruitment. In this house, we said, even if you have to recruit, go through the proper advertisements and give every young person an opportunity. Mr. Speaker, if we go and we want to interrogate a lot of the recruitments that took place, you will realize clearly that those recruitments amounted to abuse of discretion. There was no proper advertisement. There were no proper advertisements. People sat down and then just agreed among themselves, brought together family members, brought together foot soldiers, and then they went and recruited them. That was what happened. How many did you advertise? How many did you advertise? How many did you give opportunity to every Ghanaian in order to apply and be taken through the proper processes? Mr. Speaker, we know what happened in this country. And that is why Ghanaians voted overwhelmingly for the NDC. Because what happened was wrong. And Ghanaians expect us to correct what is wrong. What was wrong yesterday is wrong today. But what you did yesterday, which is wrong, must be corrected today. We cannot allow it to stand. So what the Chief of Staff has said, which is that we should reverse what has happened, we on this side of the house, we stand by it. And we will push it and make sure that fairness exists in the public sector. When it comes to recruitment under our government, I want to assure you that we will also ensure that there is fairness, that there is equity, that we are even-handed in doing whatever we do, that every Ghanaian young person is given a fair opportunity, an opportunity that they were not given in the past. we will give every young Ghanaian the opportunity, because, as we promised, we are resetting this country, and the resetting begins now. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, order. Honourable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I couldn't have risen on a point of order against my leader when he was in the dispatch box. I've always held the view that the dispatch box is a unique place, so you cannot rise on a point of order. But, Mr. Speaker, I think that the leader has been an advocate for measured language. I raised this matter in good faith, and we are not to repeat a vicious cycle in our country. The point is that if he uses the word recklessness against his former colleagues, and then also says that family and friends and foot soldiers were recruited and all, Mr. Speaker, I do not think that these should be part of our records, especially coming from the leader of the House. So, Mr. Speaker, I would want to register these as my protest. If he is minded to take these words back, so be it. If he feels strongly about it that they should, if he feels strongly that indeed these should be part of the record, and that Ghanaians who have been recruited should be sent home and they don't deserve to be employed, I have already made my point. I've relied on what President John Dramani Mahama said, and I will not litigate the matter any longer.
Order. Our members, I feel this is a simple matter that the two leaders can engage with the minister responsible for labor being involved. They can have audience with the chief of staff, and then most of these matters will then be resolved. There will be a better understanding when the chief of staff is engaged. Then we will all appreciate the nature of the action that he has taken. So I will urge the two leaders to engage, rope in the minister responsible for labor to resolve some of these issues. Honourable members, today is Chocolate Day and Valentine's Day. Honourable members, we have admitted 3 statements that we have to take jointly on Chocolate Day and Valentine's Day. Honourable members, before doing so, may I use the opportunity to wish everybody a happy Chocolate and Valentine's Day. Not forgetting my dear wife, Angel Kafui Ahiafo. Honourable members, the statements are in the name of Honourable Comfort Doyo Kujo. Honourable Elizabeth Ofosu Ajari, and Honorable Abla Jifa Gomashi. I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Abla Jifa Gomashi. And the second Deputy Speaker should take the chair. Honorable, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I wish you a happy chocolate and Valentine's Day too. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, today as we mark Valentine's Day, also now observed as National Chocolate Day in Ghana, I am honored to speak on the theme, Eat Chocolate, Stay Healthy, Grow Ghana, and the guiding sub-theme, Chocolate for All, Taste, Share, and Care. As we celebrate National Chocolate Day, we are celebrating Ghana's rich cocoa heritage as a vital component of our economy and culture. These themes outlined also underscore the importance of sustaining an ecosystem that promotes growth